In short, quotable sound bites easily grasped by the American public.
Ask not.
Rang out in Dallas, Texas, killing President John F. Kennedy, plunging the nation into mourning and changing the face of history. An eternal flame burns at Kennedy's grave at Arlington National Cemetery, where 3 wreath-laying ceremonies will be held today in memory of the slain president. None of the tributes was planned by the Kennedy family. A spokesman says the Kennedys don't want to focus on the president's death, but on his life. Peace Corps volunteers who seem to share that sentiment have been holding an all-night vigil in Washington. They're honoring President Kennedy's creation of the Corps. The vigil is in the Capitol Rotunda, where President Kennedy's body had laid in state. A complete report on our 35th president is...
Line is formed, and there is Mrs. Kennedy, the First Lady, stepping from the plane.
We were actually campaigning in Texas. It was a 3-day visit. And I was swimming with the president the day before we went in the White House pool, and he was looking forward to it.
The president's car is now turning onto Elm Street, and it will be only a matter of minutes before he arrives at the trademark.
As we did the first turn right there by the county buildings, we heard a pop, a loud pop like a firecracker.
When the first shot was fired, you know, I knew the president had been hit because,
The First Lady cradled her.
you know, some people there were saying they thought it was fireworks or something, but the president brought his hand in. He'd been waving to the people on the right side of the street, up to here, and he had fallen toward Jackie.
As I was watching at that time, I saw this puff of smoke and a flash of light. And I knew a rifle or something had been fired from behind the bushes on the grassy knoll.
And the fellow sitting next to me shouted, jabbed me in the ribs, and said, "Look up in the window, there's a rifle."
I could hear on the radio, they were this close. Someone said to get us to the nearest hospital.
The presidential car coming up now. We know it's the presidential car. You can see Mrs. Kennedy's pink suit. There's a Secret Service man, spread eagle, over the top of the car. We understand Governor and Mrs. Connolly are in the car with President and Mrs. Kennedy. We can't see who has been hit, if anybody's been hit, but apparently something is wrong here. Something is terribly wrong.
We dash into the trauma room at the hospital, and doctors going in and out, and there were so many doctors going in and out of that little room that I had hoped that he could be saved. In my mind, I'm saying, well, why would they have more doctors if there wasn't a chance?
In all of the resuscitation effort, we never had any evidence that there was any sign of life.
Just a moment. We have a bulletin coming in. We now switch you directly to Parkland Hospital and KBOX News Director Bill Hampton.
The President of the United States is dead.
I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
Across town, Dallas policeman J.D. Tippit was shot and killed after stopping a man for questioning in the assassination. Police converged on the Texas Theater where they believed the gunman was hiding. That's where they found Lee Harvey Oswald.
I just stand on the simple fact that he did it. I mean, from what we determined and found out from the evidence and the preponderance of all that evidence, he was it.
In Washington, hundreds of thousands of people came to pay their final respects to President Kennedy. But in Dallas, the shocks were not over.
Just about the time we started making that turn.